Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hello Word. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me for another exciting exploration of the English language. Today's word is cliff. So, what exactly is a cliff? Well, a cliff is a high, steep face of rock or earth. Think of it as a very dramatic edge of land, often overlooking the sea. It's a noun, and it's quite common in descriptions of landscapes and even in metaphorical senses. A cliff is formed by erosion or faulting, leaving a vertical or near-vertical drop. You often find cliffs along coastlines in mountainous regions or even along riverbanks. In everyday language, we use cliff to describe these impressive natural formations. Now, let's delve into some synonyms for cliff. One synonym is bluff. A bluff is similar to a cliff, but it can sometimes be less steep. For instance, the town was situated on a high bluff overlooking the river. Another synonym is precipice. Precipice emphasizes the danger and steepness of the drop. You might say, they stood at the edge of the precipice, gazing down into the valley. Another is crag. A crag is a rough, steep, often isolated rock or cliff. The mountain climber struggled to scale the crag. We could also use the word escarpment. An escarpment is a long, steep slope, especially one at the edge of a plateau or separating areas of land at different heights. The road wound its way up the steep escarpment. Yet another synonym is headland, particularly when the cliff projects out into the sea. A headland is a piece of land jutting out into the sea. The lighthouse stood proudly on the headland. Now, let's consider some antonyms of cliff. What words describe land that isn't steep or high? One antonym is slope.
A slope is a gradual incline.
For example, the slope was gentle, making it easy to climb. Another antonym could be plain. A plain is a large area of flat land with few trees. The cattle grazed on the open plain. We can also consider valley. A valley is a low area of land between hills or mountains. The river flowed through the fertile valley. Then there's dale, which is similar to a valley, but often more broad and open. They enjoyed a picnic in the peaceful dale. Another possibility is beach, particularly if we are talking about coastal cliffs. The children played happily on the beach. So, how can you use cliff in everyday life? Well, imagine you are describing a beautiful coastal walk to a friend. You could say, the path runs along the top of the cliff, with stunning views of the ocean. Or if you were talking about a metaphorical cliff, you might say, he drove his business to the edge of a cliff with his risky decisions. The phrase living on the edge can be connected to cliff because it suggests being close to danger or a risky situation, similar to being near the edge of a cliff. Someone might say, she's living on the cliff edge, always taking risks. A common expression involving cliff is to drive someone off a cliff, which means to push someone to the point of desperation or ruin. The constant pressure from work was driving her off a cliff. Here are a few more example sentences using cliff. The old castle was perched atop a rocky cliff. Seagulls nested on the ledges of the cliff. The sheer cliff face made it impossible to climb. They built a fence along the cliff edge to prevent accidents. The waves crashed against the base of the cliff. The hikers carefully navigated the path along the cliff. The painting depicted a dramatic scene of a ship wrecked against a cliff. The rescue team used ropes to descend the cliff and save the stranded hikers. The sunset over the cliff was breathtaking. The birds of prey circled above the cliff, searching for their next meal. Let's recap. A cliff is a high, steep face of rock or earth. Synonyms include bluff, precipice, crag, escarpment, and headland. Antonyms include slope, plain, valley, dale, and beach. Remember that a cliff can be a literal geographical feature or used metaphorically to describe a precarious or dangerous situation. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word today. I hope you found this exploration of the word cliff to be helpful and informative. Please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others discover Hello Word and learn English. Now, I have a little challenge for you. Try to create your own sentence using the word cliff and share it in the comments below this video. I'm excited to see what you come up with. Until next time, happy learning!